Hey everyone, so today was my first official leg day post, arthroscopic knee surgery. It went pretty well. My brother was able to hop in and get in there with me, so that was nice. More so we were just focusing on testing out some movements, seeing what my depth was like, seeing how much range of motion we had in the knee, and I think the day went pretty well. So we started off with some warm-ups, open up the body a little bit. I noticed that my ankles have been feeling kind of tight. I've been going for several mile walks a day every day, so I was getting a little bound up, it felt like. So we started with some ankle mobility worked the hips a little bit as well. I then proceeded to do some stability work, stepping down and up on each leg one at a time onto a 3-inch board. I then proceeded to do some monster walks or duck walks, whatever you want to call it, with a red band doubled up. Usually when I do this movement, this warm-up, I try to have it closer to my knees, but when I tried that, it seemed to put quite a bit of tension on the incisions, so I had to back it down to my ankles. So I wasn't able to keep the full tension in between steps, but I think it got the job done just well. Also, please excuse the poor lighting, bad angles. Working on it, we'll be better next time with that. So we started with goblet squats. I'm a fan of them. I'm usually a fan of throwing them in as an accessory movement, but since I'm not actually squatting with a barbell yet, I figured it was a great movement to try to feel out my groove a little bit. It took some time to figure out my foot placement, what felt good on the knee, what didn't feel good on the knee. But as you can see, we went barefoot, legs slightly wider than I normally squat, just focus on letting my knees go out, not too far forward where it seemed to put pressure on it. I also noticed that if I went any lower than how you see me going right now, it did put a little bit of pressure on my knee. Not that it was painful, but it just didn't feel comfortable. So it looks like I was able to just get to parallel, if not just break it on some of the reps, which I'm completely fine with. As you can see with my brother's stance here, we moved his feet out a little wider than he normally squats as well. We noticed that when his feet were more narrow and his toes were pointing forward, he was having trouble breaking parallel once he got to heavier weight. And if you look at his body proportion, he has rather long legs compared to his torso. So he moved his feet out wider, turned his toes out some, and he's able to drop down into the hole a lot easier. We're doing a 3-second negative with a 1-second pause at the bottom just to reinforce the form and reinforce what we're feeling for. And overall, it went pretty well for him. So we ended up performing 6 sets of 10 to 15 reps each set. It went very smooth, obviously not focusing on how much weight we're using. We're focusing on our form, keeping it consistent, and I think that went really well. I feel like it built a lot of confidence for myself, hoping that my next leg day, I can actually get under a barbell and get some work done. It also went really well for Cameron as well. He figured out his motor pattern a little better, and we're hoping that that carries over well for him. So the next exercise we performed was leg extensions. I sped up the videos because, there's nothing too exciting about leg extensions. But the two biggest things that we're focusing on when we perform this movement was, one, to use one leg at a time. This was primarily for me because I noticed that if I tried to use two legs, my hips were trying to compensate for the side that wasn't operated on, and I was starting to lean to one side. So we did one leg at a time, just to make sure we were doing the movement properly and building that unilateral strength. As well as we weren't too focused on the weights, we're just focused on the volume, getting some blood into the areas that, it hasn't been circulated through well in a while. So we did sets of 25, starting with 30 pounds, to each leg, and then we went up to 40 pounds, 50 pounds, and 60 pounds. So after the leg extensions, we went right into leg press. My brother's a fan of supersetting his leg press with a wide stance and a narrow stance. So he first started out with a wide stance, did about 10 to 15 reps, and then he immediately brings his feet in and does another 10 to 15 reps with a more of a narrow stance to kind of hit all around the leg.
Cable machine.
I don't know. Okay. So I noticed I was having the same issues with my leg press that I had with the leg extensions. When I was using both legs at one time, my hips were shifting to the uninjured side. I was babying my left side and moving everything to the right. So I decided to do these single leg as well and just focus on getting the best range of motion that I can, focusing on form and that unilateral strength. As you can see, with the left leg, I had to go a lot slower. I had to feel out where my range of motion was, which wasn't as far as I thought it was going to be or hoping it was going to be. But I was still able to move it quite a bit, so I'll take what I can. Alright guys, the last movement of our day was some good mornings with a camber bar. This is a great movement for your hamstrings, your glutes, your posterior chain overall. Something that we haven't thrown in a few years, so it's nice to do the movement again and just to feel it out, see how it felt on the knee, and we feel like it went pretty smooth, so I'll take it, put on some more weight next time. As always, guys, I want to say thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you have any comments, ideas, things you want me to shoot, just drop it below in the comments. And once again, thank you. See you next time.